Bob. We're casual this time, right?
How you doing?
Okay, so
You want to go to Zona's thing tonight? Just having up at the church about the UN taking over the. It's at 7:30. It's at 7:30. You want to go check it out? It's about the UN Convention on Children and how they're getting involved with social services and how these other taking away parental rights. I think it would be good.
I don't get a handshake?
I'm not gonna speak
It's the highlight of my night.
tonight.
Yeah, just a long way. How are you?
Where's Barry?
You're kind.
You know, he got just a free.
Hey Zeus, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Yes, ma'am.
This can be really good tonight because everybody's got their sycophant face on.
Do you want me to film?
Yeah, on your phone.
No.
This one's ready to go.
Hey, did you send that letter to the 4th District, I mean to the California State Court?
Yep.
You did?
Sent to everybody.
No, I mean,
The complaint.
send it hard copy?
It went out today from my house through the mail.
Did you sign it?
Yep, and I didn't send a return receipt requested, but I'm going to send one of those to send it to the 4th District office too,
Yeah.
Yeah, she ran back downstairs.
because they run the whole county,
So now.
which is the
we need
same,
to,
district that Zona was running for, the entire 4th District. The way it's carved up, it's amazing.
Yeah, he didn't like that, did he?
So these are the people that play ball, and they get to stay in the chair.
Yeah.
This is how it works.
Nice.
This isn't going to bode well for Bruce at all. Not at all.
That's why
The
he
whole,
didn't want to do that.
yeah, well, it's going to get really public now.
Explaining to do.
Because now we have 2 Republicans that need to be replaced in the fall. Wait till his own funeral. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh.
How's Brina?
She's good. Her foot's all better.
Is it?
Oh, it's amazing what happens.
Okay, so why do some people react and some don't?
It's different. Everyone's different.
Huh?
Everyone's different. Depends on their inflammatory response to certain things. You know what I mean?
Well, does this calm her inflammatory response down by having gone through this?
It gets her more used to it, is what happens. She gets more, what happens is the reaction is, it comes on faster and it goes away faster. You know what I mean? Her body gets more used to it.
So, Brina's meeting, talking to Deborah tomorrow and a lawyer.
I don't trust him.
That's wrong.
I don't trust Cece either. The vernacular she's using is very dangerous.
What's she saying?
Concerns, possible,
Well, now she's going after 100%, and, but you know, I was telling, Rachel about Paul's octo wired. I was telling her about it.
yeah.
And she goes, I go, because I think we should endorse it. And she was taking the same track that you were taking. It all needs to come out.
It all needs to go.
But Joe, how do you get there? All this time we've been yapping about what stuff wired. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know it needs to go too.
You may need to talk for 3 minutes just to for Barry to get here.
Call the meeting to order, please. And, Commissioner Stafford, would you mind doing this?
Please stand.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Chair Lane McNabb. Chair Vice Silva. Here. Commissioner Carvalho. Here. Commissioner Cox.
Here.
Commissioner Stanford.
Here?
Commissioner Savage.
Here.
At this time, if anyone has any public comment of items that are not on the agenda, you're welcome to come up now.
Good evening, Joe Briano. Looks like we have an empty chair. Well, I can assure you that Mr. Levinson is not an empty suit. And I can assure all of you that with the way this has been handled, although it may be according to protocol, it certainly isn't ethical, and it certainly isn't in the best interest of the residents of this community. Mr. Levinson has done a tremendous job, a very thankless job, a very selfless job of standing up for the community, the residents, the taxpayers, and even the children that use the facilities that this body governs and has control over. What he has gotten in return is what anyone would get in return when a local government is corrupt to its core and someone who is appointed to do his job gets the shaft. I want to know how long you're going to approve cell towers without contracts in front of you. I want to know how long you're going to ignore the $5 million contract shortfall that is still to this day being completely ignored on the American golf situation that Mr. Levinson has brought to light. How long are we going to sit here and act like rubber stamp acts? Because quite frankly, I know a lot of kids who love to play Little League or soccer whose parents don't have the money. And I think if the city has $5 million to throw around, maybe we should operate in a way that we can open that money up to some of the unfound diamonds in the rough in South Fullerton's apartment buildings, who may be the next Fernando Valenzuela's or the next Korean baseball player or Vietnamese baseball player or a farm kid from Iowa that dislocated south of the tracks. This community is not being served, and once it has the opportunity to have somebody up here who's looking out for all interests, not the establishment interests, we throw them out the door. Without a reason, without any formal written notice, and we expect that the people that put you here are going to go along with this. I think it's shameful. And I know it's not fun sitting here, because I have to come up here and remind all of you what a horrible job you're doing, or what you're not doing. And let's face it, Mr. Levinson is now sitting on this side of the dais. And quite frankly, maybe he'll be more effective. And to be honest with you, maybe this had to happen for the residents of Fullerton to realize that there are two council members that have an R after the name that need to be replaced in the fall. And one of them is Mr. Whitaker, and the other one is Ms. Fitzgerald, who happened to be a Democrat before she turned into a Republican to get elected. So I think with all that Mr. Levinson has gone through, almost going to jail for doing his job, trying to keep a cell tower out of a park next to a school, next to a medical center, they got approved without a contract, when all he asked was how much power can you go up to, and do you need permission from the council to come back and raise the power? And apparently nobody seems to care about the questions he asks about why we approve things without contracts in front of us. All these issues that he has raised on his term on this commission. I don't believe he's ever missed a meeting. I don't know about the rest of you, but that's, considering he doesn't get paid for this, and all the flack he's taken, I think it's pretty commendable. And I think all of you sitting here, quite frankly, if you remain silent on this, I think you're just as bad as the person who screwed him over. Thank you.
Yes, Barry Levinson. It really is, says so much about this city that for 5+ years, all I've done is done my job well. Asked tough questions. Been truthful with every statement I've ever made. Researched everything that I ever spoke about. Made sure that my facts were correct. Double and triple checked. Worked hard for the people. And this is the thanks I get. Now, Mr. Whitaker has every right to put whoever he prefers. That's his right. But to call me out of the blue when he had been, when he'd been ignoring my texts, my emails about subjects dealing with here, asking for his help, for his input, and totally running the other way, that's not a council member. If he didn't like what I said, if he thought what I said was incorrect or not totally correct, he could have discussed it with me. But no, he didn't ask one question. I gave all the council members copies of the $4 to $5 million of this park and rec in this city. And Mr. Phelps has taken away from the citizens of Fullerton by putting together that management agreement that reduced the amount of money over 20 years that will come into the city by $4 to $5 million. And I proved it. And not one of you had the guts or the integrity to just see what's put right before you. Not one of you ever asked me if there was something you didn't understand. Not one of you asked me about it. Mr. Silva went to somebody else who didn't put it together to get his answers. And he said he got them. Well, I doubt it, sir. But you never asked me. You never asked me. I'm sitting next to you. Why not? What does that show? And I'm glad finally Mr. Stanford, who had a big smirk on his face the whole time, Mr. Embriano, now is looking a little sober because, oh, now he's smirking again. It's really, really is a shame. It says a hell of a lot more about you than me. The only thing I can say is I'm absolutely positive that none of you will ever be removed from the committee because you're not doing your job, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. That's why you're appointed by most people not to do your job. And it really, really is a shame. And finally, I want to make one more point. I looked over the March, April, and May, the two that were late, yes, the March, April, and May minutes of this committee. I want to go on record that I would vote no because of omissions and errors in each and every one of those meetings.
The approval of the minutes is the next item. You can speak 3 minutes on there. Am I correct?
Let me bring it in.
Seeing none,
Doesn't matter.
consent items 1 and 2. Are there any questions?
I would like to speak on those.
So, which one do you want to pull?
The minutes, Barry. The minutes.
Which one would you like to pull, 1 and 2, or
The minutes.
item 1, okay? And the public works, okay, so we'll pull that one. And then the second item is the public works monthly report. And is that where we can get an update on the question I asked last time about the trees?
No, there's actually an agendized item for that, so you could, if you desire, you could actually.
No.
Barry, you have 3 minutes on
All
the
right,
minutes.
so we'll vote to approve consent item number 2, public works monthly report for May 2016. Is there a motion?
Or to approve the minutes,
Uh,
the reports.
Instead of motion and a second. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Barry, talk louder because they got it off. They got the microphone off, so talk louder.
Passes. All right, item number 1, the minutes for the Parks and Rec Commission, March 14, 2016, and April 11, 2016, and May 9, 2016. You take it up to public first, right?
Yeah, Barry Levinson again. Since I wasn't sent a copy of this, I just pulled it off the internet, which is from the website very recently. And as far as the March 14th comments, with regard to my distribution of the documentation for the American Golf Corporation, The only comment here says Commissioner Levinson distributed a document. He said he was in disagreement with the numbers previously presented by City Council and the Commission. I spent 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, going over and explaining those numbers. The least these minutes could reflect is that I explained and documented, explained where all those numbers came from and gave a very good explanation so that everybody could understand them. I just didn't disagree with the numbers. So that is totally inadequate. The April one. Commissioner Levinson asked that a videotaping of future meetings be placed on the, it says May agenda. Obviously, that was June agenda, and my recollection was that it should have been on this agenda, and it's not, because it was voted for, and I believe I got a backing for that, and apparently it's not on today's agenda, so that was ignored. So that's probably a Brown violation, and there's an error here, because obviously you can't request something that's already happened. And then finally, in the last one here. Well, that was the last one. There was one other one here. Let's see, which one was that? Oh, on the, this is the April one. The other one I was talking to was referred to the May one. This says that on the bottom of page, regular Fullerton Community Center Fit Club Project, number 3, on the votes. It says I voted yes, and then it said I voted no. I voted no. Thank you.
And we'll bring it back to the commissioners here. And any questions or comments? I do have one. What did happen to that item about the videotape? Because we had requested or asked for something. Is that coming up later, or?
We requested direction from the city attorney's office, and because the member that actually made the motion is no longer on, we took it off, but that's where the decision stood.
Okay.
I'd like to explain that one further.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, is there a motion to approve the minutes or other adjustments or comments?
I think if a vote needs to be corrected, then that needs to be done. I'm trying to find.
That's correct. If there was just a simple error as a yes, no, we'll just follow up with those corrections. I'm sure Debbie already noted those, and if you want to just go ahead and approve the minutes with those corrections noted, we'll go ahead and do it so.
All right. Is there a motion to accept the minutes with the corrections?
I'll make a motion to correct the minutes, or approve the minutes with the corrections noted.
I'll second that.
And this is for item 3 on page 3, April 11th minutes, correct?
The one where it's yes and no?
Yeah.
That's correct.
You voted no.
Yes.
All right. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes approved with corrections. Moving on to our presentation.
Yes. We'll have staff come up and give you a little bit of a brief view into some of our busy summer month activities. Most of you know it's concerts in the park on 4th of July, so with that, I'll open it up to. Oh, did I skip one? No,
Yeah,
yes.
that's the last one I have on the agenda.
No, hold on a second. We have a presentation for concerts this 4th of July. Yeah.
So is there a presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.